So today's word is about making the right choices. Okay, so in life, there's always choices that we have to make. In life, we make choices. In life, we do things. In life, we take different paths. We are faced with choices in our lives. Right, so now the story of Abram, okay, where God told him he must go sacrifice. He must go build an altar and sacrifice his son, Isaac. Now we all know the story of Isaac, okay. Abram waited 100 years for this boy, okay. 100 years from his wife Sarah, and it was, given to him after 100 years of waiting. So Abram was, God's servant of faith, right? He was operating in faith. So now God told Abram he must go up the mountain and he must go sacrifice his son, okay? His only promised son, okay? So Abram did it. You know what? Abram did it. He put the wood, it actually says in Genesis 22, it says he built an altar in verse 9. He built an altar, placed the wood, bound Isaac and placed him on the altar, on top of the wood. And he took the knife, in verse 10, to kill his son, because God said he must do it. Now I'm sure that was the most difficult decision that Abram had to face his whole entire life, was to kill his only son that God gave him after so long waiting. Then an angel called and said, Abram, and Abram said, here I am. And then the Lord said, do not kill your son. Now I know that you fear me. Now, Abram there was a decision he had to make. He had to do what God said he has to do. Now in life, it's hard for us to sometimes make the right decision. It's hard for us to make the right decision in order to please God, in order to follow or to go in the plan that God has for your life. Now it's difficult. It's difficult. Climbing up that mountain is difficult. It had to be difficult for Abram to go with his son, to carry the wood, to do everything, to go sacrifice his only promised son, right? Now, sometimes we go with the traffic. We just go. We just go. And it's easy because it's just flowing. It's going. And that's where most of the people are. We're just going and going and going and going. And then God, He wants you to take a right turn or a left turn, and you don't even see that turn because you are so in this rat race. You just go with the traffic. But the minute God says to you, my child, it's time for you to turn. It's time for you to do this for me. It's time for you to make this decision. We must make a U-turn, and then we're going against the traffic, and it's hard. It's scary. It's so scary because we're going against the traffic. We think, oh my goodness, am I doing the right decision? But in your heart, you know that the Lord has placed this decision in your heart. He has placed this direction in your heart. He told you to take this turn in your life, and it's hard. Just like it was hard for Abram to climb up that mountain to go sacrifice his son, because that is what God expects of him. And now you're going against this traffic, and it's hard. You're going against this traffic, and you know what? It gets less. The traffic coming against you gets less. Why? Because most people go that way. Most people is going that way. Only a few takes that little gate. Only a few chooses the path that God has for their lives. And the traffic gets less. And you know what? God shows you another road to take. And you take that road. And it's peaceful. It's quiet. It's you and God. And it's life. It's life. So it's almost like now you can actually experience the life that Christ had planned for you. You can experience just to breathe. You can experience all the goodness that God has planned for you, but while you're in that traffic, you can't see it. You can't experience everything that God has planned in your life. But the minute you make a U-turn, the minute we listen to God and say, Lord, am I making the right decision? Lord, guide me. Even if it's hard going up the mountain, even if it's hard going against the traffic, the Lord will show you another path, another road to go into where you will find rest, where you will find life. Now that is where we want to be. We want to live while we are on earth. We want to be able to live fully. God wants us to have a full life. God wants us to excel in our lives. He wants us to grow. He wants us to carry His glory. He wants us to be glory carriers. He wants us to shine. But while we are in that traffic, we don't see the opportunities. We don't see it because we're just going. Going, and your life is passing away. So today I want to ask you. Is God telling you to make that U-turn? Is God telling you to change your course? Is God telling you, my child, don't go with the traffic, go against it, make a U-turn? Yes, it's going to be hard for the first few, for the first few seconds or whatever, for the first few years maybe, for the first few weeks, we don't know. But my child, I will show you the path to go. I won't let you go upstream all the time, but just with your obedience, like Abram, he was going up the mountain, he was carrying the wood, he had to go through that. And then God He lifted it up. He lifted it up, and you know what? If you go against that traffic, if you go with God, if you go with what He wants to do in your life so that you can excel, He will cover you with His mercy. He will cover you with His grace. And He will give you that green pastures. And He will give you that growth. And He will give you what you need every day. So if you have a tough decision to make today, go hear what God wants you to make. And you know what? The right decision is not always the easiest decision. It's not always the easiest decision. Most of the time, the right decision is a tough one. It's a tough one because it's a decision of obedience. Yes, Lord, I'm going to do this. It's going to be tough, but Lord, I'm covered by you. Jesus, I'm covered by your blood, Jesus. Yes. Just go ask God today if you must make a U-turn, and He will show you. And He will carry you through the time until you reach that path where you can grow with Him and where you can excel with Him and where you can hear Him. Because in the traffic, we can't hear Him. Be blessed, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And just know that God has you. He's got you. He's right there on the path with you. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.